another glorious day, my tea sippers, and you know what time it is. I hope you have all of your crumpets together because it's time to dish tea. And you're dishing tea, darlings, with Big Meat.
Can't wait. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat.
Darling.
And hello, hello, hello. Hello, 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 hello. Oh, okay, now that just went to the bitch, okay. Oh, and it did because I forgot to get my libation, so I had to go run to the kitchen and carry it on so I could be back in my chair. And this and that. What's going on to all of my tea sippers, my crumpet dunkers, my tea brewers, my pot stirrers, and my tea leaf readers, honey? Y'all know it is a glorious, glorious, glorious day. Cold as fuck, but it's glorious. And I hope you have all of your crumpets together, my darling, because it is time to dish tea. And you are dishing tea, darlings, with Big Meat. What's up, what's up, what's up? Now, I don't have a glass. I'll be real that way. I'm going to be drinking my green juice today, honey. This is green goodness. The green goodness, honey. We're coming in. I told y'all yesterday that we were going to be late today. Y'all know I have to go and support the College Park Skyhawks. For those of you who are in the Atlanta area, please, you guys, go look them up, honey. cpskyhawks.com is the email address. They are, if you're into basketball, they are the G League of the Atlanta Hawks. Baby, the last few games, these boys been sitting here playing some real serious ball game. We won tonight, though. We won. So that was real cute. Real cute. So we got in and carried on, and oh shit, wait a minute, I'm a little moist and carrying on. This is ridiculous. However, it's cold outside, and I think I got my heat just a little too high in here. Okay. So I got to find my happy medium, y'all, but that's all right. That's all right. But in the meantime and in between time, honey, today's subject matter, we have a special guest coming in, and then once we finish with him, then if time permits, because I don't know how long this is going to get when we get to talking, but if time permits, darling, we're going to have a little bit of fun, honey, and we're going to have some Black conscious conversation, honey, at the Real Talk deck. Yeah, y'all know I love having these little cards or whatever to spark conversation. As a matter of fact, you know what? There was one in here that I think is going to be very appropriate for tonight. I'm gonna ask this question, and oh shit. Okay, here I go trying to be grand, right? And never mind, because hell, the card I thought I had it right up front, but it's not there. So okay, moving on. We're just going to get some things done today. But tonight, let me tell y'all this right now. Y'all know I have a potty mouth. We make no excuses for it. But tonight is going to be the sex talk. So for those of y'all who can't handle sex, and I'm talking after dark kind of talk, because y'all know how my mouth is. So if you cannot handle it, today, now is a good time to say, Meech, we love you, but we're not going to be in on this one. For those of you who are, sanctified hookers, and just go be in the comments or whatever, that's cute. As a matter of fact, let me run my banner. Wait a minute, what's the banner that I want to run? What's the banner that I'm going to run? Anyway, we're going to get all off into that and call it grace. Oh, I'm going to run this one because we talked about them before. Now, y'all remember a while ago, on the show, remember when I had highlighted the condoms? I said this is a Black-owned condom company. and I showed y'all the condoms, and I ran them around and said, y'all need to go and find this out and carry it on, because we are doing what we need to do to rebuild Black Wall Street, right? And so, yes, well, darlings, we now have the CEO, the creator, the founder, just the man behind the creation of these condoms. Mr. Jason PANDA is going to be here with us. I'm going to bring him in just a few minutes. So this here is going to be one of those kinds of discussions, okay? Now, like I said, it's going to get a little bit that way because y'all know how my mouth goes. But if you have questions, comments, or concerns, and you will come in on the conversation, make sure you put them in the comment section, because like I'm going to put them up in here. Wait a minute. Who's up in here? Hey, Michael. What's going on? Good evening, everyone. Hey, baby. Roderick. Roderick, now you and RN, honey, I'm going to need you to make sure you put some questions and stuff up in here from an RN's perspective. Now, listen, this is going to be part one of this series because we got Jason on tonight. They're going to talk about these condoms that can on and things. Next Friday, the 18th, we got Dr. David Melbranch. If you guys are not familiar with him, Dr. David Melbranch is an HIV/AIDS specialist. However, I think he's expanding his brand to where we're about Black healthcare and carrying on. So he's going to be here on Friday the 18th. So we're gonna hit this from all particular perspectives, okay? So yeah, this is going to be very, very fun. So Roger, make sure you get your questions together. Hey, Mother Riri, what's going on? Leo Brown, honey, Brandon Leo Brown, honey, psychic to the stars. Hey, darling, how you doing? Is the better question, honey. Everything is moving and grooving. Y'all know I'm still in birthday celebration mode. And since we're talking about that, to all of my Pisces out there, today we're going to give a shout out. And I did not do a birthday reel for him today, but y'all know our jingle is sung by none other than my big brother, honey, Mr. Tony Terry. And today happens to be Tony's birthday. So shout out to Mr. Tony Terry. And yeah, thank you for just showing us the love, child. Tony, that's my baby, honey. That's my big brother, and carrying on, and all of that. So let's get into it. Reg, you ready? Let me bring my co-host up in here. What's going on?
But let me try to. I'm gonna work on that. What's the name in a little bit.
Okay, he's sitting on the phone, so we're gonna mute him for a minute until he hang up. Okay, and Nikki's on her way in. She's we just came back from the game, so she's reorganizing. She'll be in a minute. So without any further ado, wait a minute. Let me put on my little thing here, because see, like I said, we doing what we're gonna do here to rebuild Black Wall Street, and I really believe it is our duty, everyone who is of the diaspora. I love that word. That we do our part, regardless if where you get in where you fit in. But here we're gonna do this. So. Yes, rebuilding Black Wall Street, my darlings. So without any further ado, I want to introduce to some, present to others. This is the man behind the concept, the evolution, the construction, the edifice of what we know to be B condoms. Okay. B condoms.
My bad.
Okay. B condoms. Okay. This is the one and only. This is Mr. Jason PANDA. Hey.
Hey, how you doing?
What's going on with you, baby? What's going on?
Nah, doing all right. Thanks for having me. Yeah,
thank you for wanting to come and to share your knowledge and your wisdom and just your newfound profession with us.
Yeah.
And I say that because for those of you who don't know his story, I'm going to let him tell it in his own words, but I'm just going to do a brief recap. You have here a young man who thought he wanted to be a doctor, went into law, hated it, okay, and then let his spirit guide him into what has now become, I'm going to call it a ministry. Okay. And at the same time, as I call it a ministry, I'm going to say it took him back to his original passion in a different way. Okay. Because though he may not be the doctor that he started out to be, he's still a healthcare professional, and Black healthcare has become his creed, his mantra, and everything. And to be the first somebody. No, not the first somebody. No, we put it that way. The first somebody, but also as a Black man who has created the first Black owned, Black constructed, Black condom.
Yeah.
That there is monumental. And so in our efforts to rebuilding Black Wall Street, supporting Black owned businesses and carrying on, it is my duty, my honor, and my privilege to have you here so we could talk about how this came to be and then get into the dirtiness of it, because you know we got to get dirty. So let's start clean.
Yeah.
Okay. Because you know everything. You got to start off clean. Yeah, you got to start off clean, honey. You know you can't start with a dirty kitty, honey. You got to clean your kitty. Okay. So introduce everyone to who Jason Panda is and why this is important to you.
Well, my name is Jason Panda. I'm the CEO and founder of Do Condoms. We're the first and basically one of the only Black-owned condom brands in the United States. I started the company about 10 years ago. Actually, next week it'll be 11. Before Do Condoms, I used to practice law. I originally, I went to Morehouse, and that was kind of my initial introduction to to Atlanta. I'm from Massachusetts originally. And like Big Meech had said, I thought I wanted to be a physician. Did really well, was a bio major. Then I ended up getting into biopharmaceutical patent law. All right. So that was kind of protecting big drug companies or whatever, HIV, AIDS drugs, all of that. Went to Georgetown for law school, did really well or whatever. But it wasn't my calling, which is really kind of like what you had said. I was the first black person, or definitely the first Black male, hired at my law firm in 5 years. All right. So, you deal with a lot of different types of microaggressions. You deal with just a lot of it's not a healthy environment, right? Like you take money and all of that aside. It just really wasn't a good space. So growing up, my mother had run a detoxification organization called Boston Detox in Massachusetts, where I'm from. So when the crack epidemic hit, during the drug epidemic, she had the only Black run organization in Massachusetts where I was from. And one day she and I were speaking about, the disproportionate impact. You look at HIV and AIDS, you look at STIs, you look at STDs, you look at unplanned teenage pregnancy. And we talked about whether we were speaking about here in the US, because, she's originally from Virginia by way of, Andrews, South Carolina, real small town or whatever. But, mass market would always go and use kind of dog whistles to talk about Black people, right? When they're talking about all of these different incidence rates. And then if you look at the companies, one of the things I saw is even back then, companies like a Trojan or a Magnum were putting basically zero. Not only were they putting zero money into the Black community, they weren't actually putting any people that looked like you were on the ads at that point.
Right.
So then I looked and I started doing some research, and I found out that just Blacks alone, we spend close to $500 million a year in condoms. Right, without really any other money, right? So then I posed a question. She and I were talking. I was like, what if we could then transform the impact of our buying power, right? Imagine how many nonprofits that could support, right? Mm-hmm. Imagine how many jobs that would be able to create. Imagine what type of ecosystem at scale, right? That could really be able to do in terms of powering, Black culture, Black experience, but also reducing Black health disparities. Whether it be with, HIV and AIDS, whether we're looking at teenage pregnancy, whether we're looking at all of these other types, but do it in a way that's really inclusive and that basically gives us all a seat at the table, right? Because I think my mindset was always, as long as you're asking, you'll never be seen as equal, right? And it was really hard. I initially, I went to China, Thailand, and Malaysia because my thing was, you always got to get a direct source, right? So that's really where I learned the back end. So one of the things about our condoms is, they're vegan friendly. I don't include like any caseins, any glycerins, any nitrosamines, any of a lot of the kind of like fillers or toxins that a lot of the other manufacturers include. So we actually have a much better product. And that's actually where I began to learn where, you know, we could take people from the rubber tree all the way down to the end product that you now have. And that's when I launched it, and it was extraordinarily hard, right? Like, you know, I left law, you know, making great money and all of that, but I had found my calling and I kind of had to wait, right? So, you know, at first we tried to go retail. It didn't work. No, all of the doors were shut. Then we started out nonprofit. That began to work. Then we went from nonprofit to government, right? And now, right now, about a third of the condoms that are distributed through public health agencies and county health departments are mine. Right. Like, you know, and a lot of people, they never actually heard about us because when I first started, you know, this was before it was sexy to have a Black owned business. Right. Like, you know, there was a time in which, you know, literally I used to have to kind of hide behind, you know, the cover or whatever, the kind of the shield, just be able to get an opportunity. All right. But then what happened was more recently, you know, with the George Floyd and with the protests and everything else. And then also around 2020, during that same period, I moved the business from New York to Atlanta. My goal was always to, you know, I always wanted to come back here because it just felt like home for me, right? Like I love Atlanta. I love just everything about it. I love Black culture. It was always my fit. And that's really kind of when a lot of doors that didn't open prior for us began to open up, right? So now, you know, you can find us in all of the local Walmarts, right? We get ready to expand nationally in Walmart, right? I'm happy to let you know, in about next month, this time, you'll be able to find us in Targets all across the country.
Good.
Right. Okay. So like what I've really been able to do now is kind of just pull a seat up at the table and give us an opportunity, but hopefully use my platform and to use the company as a way to be able to move us all forward. And that's always kind of been what's been important for me from the bottom of my soul. And kind of like when you talk about a calling, kind of like, you know, you get to a point in life where you realize like, this is what I think my purpose is, right? Like you believe you're living your purpose, right? Like, and that's why I'm really big on saying like, trust the process, you know, and that part that you may not even know, like, you just got to know that as long as you continue to do it the right way, the part that you can't see will be able to take care of itself.
Okay. Okay. Now let's go here. Let's go here, baby.
Ask whatever you want.
I got a question.
Yeah.
What exactly makes a condom vegan?
So that's actually a really good question, right? So one of the things that happens, and excuse me if I kind of like use like a drug reference or whatever, but my competitors, right? Like you imagine like people know kind of like if you got like cocaine, like people chop it up or whatever, right? They add different fillers, right? So what happens is, let's say you're able to take that raw latex, right? You'll be able to make more condoms off of a concentration than you can if you add in all of these fillers, right? So a lot of these fillers that I just mentioned, whether it's like casein, which is, it comes from like the cows or whatever.
The intestines of the cows,
Exactly. So what a lot of my competitors do, right, is they'll say, okay, we have this all natural rubber latex, right? And then they'll mix it in with all of these fillers, thus allowing them to be able to make more condoms with the same amount of latex or more condoms with less latex than I would be able to make because they're chopping it up, right? So what, and that's where it's really interesting, right? Because one of the things that I pride myself on is I'm like, our condoms are odorless, right? And that's because I don't include a lot of these fillers, right? So what happens is, you know, when people use our condom, they're like, yo, there's a difference here, right? And the difference is, a lot of people's bodies don't respond to them. So a lot of people think that they got like latex allergies, right? When it's not the latex, it's all of these fillers and toxins that all of our competitors are adding to the product, and not actually that raw latex. But because we never controlled the supply chain, a lot of us never even knew, right? So that's also part of the reason, you know, when I say like our condoms are like vegan friendly, right? That like ours are actually different from a manufacturing perspective.
Wow.
All right. Eric is asking, okay, is gelatin used in the regular condom as well?
No.
Okay. So now let's go here, because one of the things about this particular business is that, of course, we are dealing with men primarily. Okay. Before I get terribly that way, are you looking to expand to have your version of the female condom as well?
Not at this point. And I'll tell you why. The female condoms almost exclusively controlled by FC2, right? Like they have a monopoly on the market, right? So I've actually looked at getting into that space, but I got blocked, from a lot of the FDA. Like we're really different in that, our condoms are FDA approved, right? Like they go through triple testing, like the air pressure test, the water leak test, electronic pinhole test, right? And having that certification is key for me. And the only way I'd be able to like distribute like the FC2 would be able if I could get the federal government to be able to approve it. And they're not they basically closed out that market for the female condom. That's why there's really only one provider.
Oh wow, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
So now let me ask this, because in here we're talking about latex, okay? But one of the things that I know is that with latex condom, they always say that a water-based lubricant needs to be used. However, in my experience, I like a silicone-based lubricant because it doesn't break down. It stays wet longer. Not to promote wet. That's their slogan.
Yeah, no, that's key.
But
one thing I will tell you that a lot of condoms actually use the silicone based, right? And that's really where it gets interesting, right?
Ooh,
so like
dish.
Yeah. So a lot of condoms actually, like the lubricant that almost all of us use when people buy our condoms are silicone based, right? But a lot of lubricants that are actually purchased on the supply side, on the distribution side, a lot of those are water based. And the reason being is a lot of times you can get like the same effect from a water base as a silicone base, but the water base may actually cost less, right? So you get a lot of the pros that you'd be able to get, but it would cost you a little bit less than a silicone base, especially now, kind of like with the price of like silicone and everything increasing. Almost all of the like lubricant, like I'm sure when you got our box, right, you got a couple of small packs of lubricant, right? Those lubricants are water based.
Okay.
We usually just toss in a couple just for people's. No. Sorry, you bought yours at Walmart. Sorry, but if you would have got it online, we usually just include a couple of sachets.
Okay. Yeah. I went. No. Okay. Yeah, I got these from Wally World.
Yeah. Wally World, and everybody, if you're in the Atlanta area, definitely support. You can find us at most of the Walmarts in Metro Atlanta. Personal care section.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So now,
don't get lost for words now.
No. I'm trying to make it flow. I'm trying to make it flow because see, I know where my mind want to go, but I'm trying to be cute. But, okay.
You gotta stretch it out and roll it up.
I'm not with you. Okay, let's go here. This is where I'm trying to go. Because I have here the Platinum
XL.
This is the XL. Okay. Let me do this because here is something that I was taught as when I was testing when I was being trained as an HIV counselor. Okay.
Gotcha.
They told us, number one, the female condom became the female condom because it was originally supposed to be an anal condom, but they didn't know how to market that. So what happened was they didn't think that it was going to be successful. And of course, the stigma of anal sex was, what it is, especially back at that time. So they rearranged it and called it the female condom. And remember what condoms, when they made black condoms?
Yep. We had those as well.
Okay. Black condoms at the time they first started manufacturing them, besides the ones that were the glow in the dark, they were supposed to be targeted to black men because of how we're built. Our shaft we're girthier on the shaft, and we get thicker as we go down. Okay. And so the black condom was supposed to have been made for the black man.
Yeah.
Okay. However, folks didn't believe it, number one.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
They did not believe it. And then with those who did, then it started to become, well, how come the CDC and them don't pass those out? Because they know if black men have more girth or whatever, why is it that they're not doing that? Because of, the condom breakage and carrying on, and we got all these unwanted pregnancies and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
My question to you becomes, you went and you have different sizes in your condoms. Why is it that you needed to have different sizes?
Now, I'll tell you that right there was part of kind of like the core, like a core concept of the company, or whatever, right? Like the one thing, even, when we're all talking about condoms, we're like, it's something that we all can kind of have a shared experience, right? We know what we like, we know what we don't like, right? And when I first got into the market, my biggest challenge was, everybody kind of knows lifestyle is kind of like a low cost, low price.
Right.
You just want breakages pretty high or whatever, but it's like, if you just want something to get by, you'll use it, right?
Right.
And with Durex, they may make a decent condom, but they're not always available everywhere. And, it just had its own. And then with Trojans, you end up still had good breakage, but also it had the smell. All right.
Right.
So for me, when I first came in, we first started and I'll tell you, packaging a lot of this is key as well. So when we first started, going back to what you were saying, right, I realized that we needed a larger segment condom, right, that would actually be able to fit black men, because a lot of folks were just like, yo, this is too tight. All right.
Right.
And
Right.
on the large side, Trojan hadn't really had a lot of competition. Right. So
True.
And then one of the things that I realized, I was like, in my first few years, our large really was kind of like the Trojan, like it was comparable to the Magnum, but it ran a little smaller, right? And that's because our manufacturer only made that size, right?
Oh, get out. Okay.
Yeah. So what happens is like the condom that you have right now, that is brand new as of like last year. I had to then go back and pay my manufacturer to recalibrate the machines to then be able to make the biggest condom on the market.
Really?
Right. Yeah. And that took even to my company a certain level to then be able to have the money, right, to be able to pay them to basically retrofit all of their machines to make a condom that would then be able to fit it for us.
Okay, now hold on, because let me play this clip. Let me play this. Nick, I'm gonna bring you in. This is our other co-host, Miss Nikki.
Yeah.
While she's
How
here,
you doing?
Wait a minute.
I just been backstage listening to y'all.
You probably ordered a whole box.
Shut the hell up. No, I didn't.
Okay.
What I do? Look at them.
How you all doing? My name is Jason Panda.
Hold on, not that one yet.
How you all doing? My name is Jason Panda, and I'm the CEO and founder of B Condoms. Today, I'm going to show you what it means to have the largest condom on the U.S. market. As we can see, I have one of our Platinum XL B condoms in hand, and I have a ruler right there. The ruler is about 18 inches, right? What I'm going to show you right now is how I can actually take our condom all the way down to my elbow, right? So what you can see, we're pulling it all the way down. Now, keep in mind, not only do we have the biggest condom in the market, our condoms are also pH sensitive, they're vegan friendly, they're organic, and we don't contain any of the fillers that other brands have. B Condoms, biggest condom on the US market, takes you all the way down to the elbow. Make sure to protect the culture. Thank you and take care.
Okay.
look at Miss Nikki.
Because now listen, because now we're finna get nasty.
Yeah.
I knew that was coming. I was trying to get in here before they got there.
See, here's where it is.
You said you was coming before you got here?
I know.
I'm not even looking at you tonight. I swear.
In the S&M community and carrying on, and those who are into fisting and carrying on.
Yeah.
What?
Fear.
No, there's a segment. There are people that like that. Yeah.
We know. When I co-hosted on Helena's show before, they was talking when the guy came in and he talked all about that. I was like, wait a damn minute, pineapples.
That there is because I know folks that have gone up to the shoulder blade. Okay. Okay. So because
wait, you said
that,
what? Wait, whoa. You ain't gonna just act like what Kevin Hart said. You ain't gonna just act like you ain't just say what you said. What? Well, you had
I
said.
know folks.
Sorry for the lighting, y'all. I'm in my room tonight. Anybody say something about my lighting, y'all can go straight to you know where. I don't feel like it.
No, I said in the spaces. I know folks that can take an arm up to the shoulder blade. Okay.
Wait, that's possible.
Yes. So now what we're going to do, darling, he did it on his video, but I'm going to do it here in front of y'all.
Sir.
Oh. Hey, bro, you got a big arm.
A little bit wider.
And yeah, Meech's arm is bigger than his.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, but look at how far we are,
though. It's strong.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, no, not only are we black owned, I make a really good product.
See?
Like that's one of the things, like part of the reason I like to kind of make those kind of like educational tutorial videos.
Yeah.
Is to actually, because what happens a lot of times, when you got a black owned company, their first thing is, are your products really good? Like, let me but what happens, I think, is the visual, right? Like when you can actually show people like what that means, right? Then you allow the product to speak for itself.
Okay, so I have a question.
I bet you do.
How do you get like your ratings and what people feel like as people giving back feedback to tell you?
Oh yeah.
Because I know a lot of people's problem with condoms and stuff is like they say, you can't feel nothing, don't feel right, it's just whatever. What role does your company play in that, like with the actual sensation of it all?
So the good thing about ours is because we end up using a higher concentration of like all natural latex and we don't do a lot of the fillers, the experience with our condom is actually a lot better than a lot of our other competitors, right? Not to mention we use a thinner grade of latex, right? Okay. So the combination of those two is actually, and it's been an evolution to get to that, right? Like one of the things that I mentioned was even like our XL, the one that, Big Meech has right now. We didn't offer that before, right? We had we called it like an XL, but it really wasn't. It wasn't that big. It was more like a large, right?
Yeah, I was listening to you. I was backstage listening.
Yeah, people will tell you what they like and what they don't, right? And they and our feedback at that point was, Jason, like I like what y'all are doing. I like your cause. I like all of that, but like you need to come a little bit bigger, right? Like there's reasons why outside of everything else why we go with the condom that we have, right? So that's like that type of feedback is really good for us because then we go back to the drawing board, right? So like even if you look at like the products that we offer online on our website versus like in store, right? Now on our online we have like 13 different types or 12 different types of condoms. So we have the ribbed, we have the studded, we have the thin, the sensitive. We even got a snugger fit, right? For really small penises, right? Because you got to think there's a segment of people out there, like everybody ain't going to be, Mr. Marcus, right? Like,
about
it. Even though everybody wants to believe it, right? And then we don't want slippage, right? Like, it becomes an issue when with women, like they're like, man, the condom has slipped off inside of me. Like, what's this man over here doing, right? Like, so you end up dealing with all of these, but there's also a segment that like, there's a reason that people pull out and it kind of goes into their ego. It goes into their masculine nature, right? Like wanting to be more of a man, right? And I think that's a lot true, whatever, just within Black culture, whatever as well. But like, that's why I realized I had to offer the full variety, right? And in offering the full variety, and everybody can find what's best for them.
Okay. Now let's go here.
Me's about to get nasty. I'm gonna eat my nachos and mine.
We can't talk about condoms, honey, because condoms and dick and ass and everything go together.
It's not exactly what you're gonna say. It's what that fool over there gonna say to whatever you gonna say.
Why do you do me like that?
What are you talking about, brother?
He just been sitting quiet the whole time. I'm like,
oh Lord, baby.
Okay.
You call me brother and you treat me like a little stepchild. I mean, I don't understand.
So now, here, this here, now I'm gonna play the other video because I need to. I when I first saw this,
you're the cucumber one.
No, when I first saw this, I said, okay, either this brother talked to other brothers about this, or you've been through this yourself. Let me play the video first, and we'll get into it.
Yeah.
Okay.
How you all doing? My name is Jason Panda, and I'm the CEO and founder of B Condoms. Today I'm about to give you a demonstration to show you why B Condoms are the strongest condoms in the market. There's nothing better. What we're gonna do today is I took one of our Platinum XL condoms, we're gonna put it over a cucumber, and what I'm gonna show you is that we can cut through this cucumber without actually breaking the integrity of our condom. Now you can see I put the condom over this cucumber. I'm gonna take a knife, we're gonna now cut through it. Now, keep in mind, all condoms are not able to do this. This is something special, all right? Our condoms are pH friendly for the women, all right? They're vegan friendly, they're organic. We don't have any of the toxins that you'll find in other types of condoms, like the caseins, the glycerins, the glutens, any of those. That's why our condoms are odorless and they're tasteless. So what you now saw was, voila, all cuts through the cucumber. Now watch this. Take some water, open it up. No holes. This is what you get when you purchase a B condom. The best quality on the market, black owned, and make sure to protect the culture with B condoms. Nothing's better. Thank you. Jason Panda tapping out.
All right.
Gold diggers about to be mad at you.
Hey, excuse me. Okay, odorless, tasteless, vegan.
Yeah, vegan friendly, pH sensitive for the women.
pH sensitive for the women. Fellatio just went through the roof. Okay.
But you see what I said,
hey,
for all the little hussies
hey,
that
baby,
think they
baby girl, I'm gonna need you to top me off. Oh, I don't eat meat. Oh no, these are vegan.
So
I'm
now,
make sure I tell my sons, all my sons about this.
Yeah.
I got 4 sons. I'm telling them all. So for all y'all little heifers keep trying to trap my sons, trying to make them have babies and stuff like that.
Right.
but
You ain't gonna be able to do it now, honey.
this is why I asked, because I said either you've been through this or the men around you have all talked about the fact that everybody tried to do that pen test and try to, pierce the condom so that they could trap the guy into getting pregnant or whatever, because it's like, no, we got condoms. But no, it didn't break, because I grabbed it and did another, but she was sticking pins and stuff through it.
Right.
What was that and why? How did you come up with this particular concept to make this condom that?
That was a genius move, baby. It was, I promise you. I told you I got 4 sons.
That's right, because ain't no pubic hair in that napkin.
These streets ain't safe for y'all, honey.
Yeah, not like my thing, right? It goes back to what happens is I'm passionate about condoms, right? I'm passionate about safe sex. This is like my calling, right? And it's hard for me, I know how much more I spend than all of my competitors, right? So it's hard for me. And that's why, even right now, we're going to do a monthly segment on different things that you can use our condoms for, right? Because it's one thing if I say it, right? I can be yo, I can show you all, try that same thing with a Trojan. When that thing bursts and all the water start leaking all around, you'll see the difference, right? So with us, I'm I sit back and I think condoms, right? So I'm all right, I wonder if we could do that with it. I wonder if I could do that with it. And a lot of times, I can, right? So once I saw that, I was sitting back and, everybody, when they do safe sex, they'll use a cucumber, right?
Right.
I know how strong our condoms are, right? I was I bet you and we were just sitting at the office, right? And I was like, I bet you I could cut through this cucumber without breaking our condom. Nah, you can't do that. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. That other condom done broke the moment you put it on. I'm like, nah, but the other condom ain't us, right? Like,
Right.
And that's always been my mentality, like, because if you lead with quality, if you lead with like something that you genuinely know is a better product, right? It eventually people will see it, right? And that's why people call it, like, I guess that's kind of like my science background, like product matters, right? Quality matters. Packaging also matters. That's why if you look at the packaging, you'll see like you'll see the holographic box or whatever that I try to make it pop. And then sure enough, once I seen it, people are like, oh, you got to put that on a video. We got to make, so what ended up happening that same day, I shot all 3 of them videos the same time.
Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's go
you
here.
tried to put it over eggplant?
Huh? I put it over my head. We got a video.
Yeah, and I'm trying to find that video. He put over his head. Yeah.
I called it a wave cap. I said, for all them dudes trying to get them 360s, you want them smooth waves, I got to wait for you to get it.
That's what he said. That's exactly what he said. That's the video I was trying to find. I was like, oh, shit. Okay.
All those school princesses trying to get them NBA players. You're not going to be able to do this thing.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I forgot.
You know what?
So stupid.
But you know, let's go here. Let's go here because when we talk about the idea of safer sex, and this may not be in your warehouse because of what it is that we had to deal with. In dealing with trying to protect the culture, we have a lot of folks who are on medications and psychotropic medications and carrying on that affects their nature.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, the argument of safe sex or safer sex becomes derailed because a lot of the medicines have sexual side effects.
Yeah.
So if it has sexual side effects, by the time I get my dick up, honey, I don't have time to go wrestle with a goddamn condom. Yeah. So what is it in the messaging? Because you know, we're trying to get folks back into condom usage. Yeah, that's part one of this. But let me start there. What is it in the messaging that you're able to do, or have you gone into that part of this particular argument yet?
With us, I think like and what I'll tell you, and this is funny that you mentioned that, right? With us, a lot of times it's been about like finding what the true brand voice is. Right.
Okay.
And I think when people see, we all know how big the market is and how impactful this can be at scale. Right. And it's been my job to try to maneuver with the ins and outs or whatever to then be able to find out how do I present it? How do I give us all a seat at the table? Right. So before, one of the things that we used to find is, you know, when we do things with celebrities or rap artists or whatever, because everybody's like, oh, first thing you just need a rapper to go and put it in this video and then you go and blow up. We try it. That's part of like the gumbo, right? But it ain't the only element, right? So my vision has always been, I see in my mind, right, a space between hip hop, nightlife, entertainment, celebrity, and community on this side, right? Okay. And as long as, and what I try to do is I try to walk that middle line between the two, right? Okay. And I think. And in walking that line between what's hot, what's cool, what's hip, and what's educational, right? And I keep it cultural as well, and I keep it specific to Black culture and that Black experience. That's what I found can connect the most, right? Okay. But I say that also to say, I recently brought on a girl to kind of help us with social media, right? One of our and she's like a professional storyteller. Right, like he knows how to package safe sex and education in ways that are like captivating. Right, we posted our first post with her maybe 2 days ago. Right, that post got like 1,200 shares. Okay, right, and like to me, I'd never thought that you could put like educational stuff and have people share it that way. Right. Like that's like unheard of. You know how many nonprofits have been trying to figure out what that secret sauce is? right?
Right.
Before I saw something, right? I'm like, you got a unique ability to be able to tell a story in a way that's relatable. It's not offensive, but then it's like it captivates people. And one of the things that you'll be able to see now as we kind of transform our social media is you're going to be able to see a lot more of that mixed in with the other stuff, right?
Okay.
So you'll see that, then you'll see the lifestyle, then you'll see like the celebrity, the nightlife, all of that to keep it cool and hip. But all of it's also focused on protecting the culture, right? And I don't want to talk too long or whatever, but to go back to what you're saying,
just you.
yeah, but to go back to kind of what you're saying about, there are a lot of people that also take drugs, right? Like or take medications or whatever that make it more difficult. So with us, I understand the limitations to what we're going to be able to do.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And I think what I'm trying to do is find that way to be able to make condoms cool and to be able to then incorporate in our culture and the importance of it. Right. Now, later on, right, one of the things that I'm also looking at doing is like product extensions, right? Like, can we come up with all natural male supplements or female supplements, right, that can also be able to add value to that experience, right?
Okay.
And I think that's where when I look at the broader brand, you have our messaging, you have our product, but this is to me is like phase one. And then I feel like in my mind where I'm trying to take this is to be able to then carve a real space within Black health, right? Okay. So like I see like kind of how Anthony Bourdain did it with food, kind of like being he'll bring you in with food, but it opens up everything else. Right. What my broader and much bigger vision and what my like what my North Star is, right? Is to use this as an entree for everything else that we need to do around Black health. Why? Because condoms and sex is the one thing that that somebody, a 13, 14, 15-year-old girl or boy has an experience that's comparable to somebody, 80, 82, 83, 84. They're all having sex. So it relates to everybody at a different point in life. Right. And it can then open up so many different discussions, whether it's in the beauty salons, whether it's in the barber shops, it can then open up so many other aspects. And that's really where I kind of work to get towards.
Okay. Now let me flip the question on the other side, because that may still remain the answer. But the flip side of the question is, in a culture now where raw is law.
Yeah. People don't like using.
Okay, raw is law. We have everybody on the OnlyFans pages and just for fan pages and carrying on.
Prep.
In this particular stage now, to where we're in the age of prep, and everybody believe now that because they're on prep that they don't have to use condoms and stuff anymore. Yeah. As a businessman, how is it that you're able to find your niche because that's your competition there? Raw is law is your competition.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So how is it that you're able to navigate those waters?
I think with us, regardless of what condom company it was going to be, that was always going to be a competition, right? Because people just inherently believe that like condomless sex is better than condom sex, right? So I think when I look at it, I worry less about condoms versus condomless versus I see an opportunity to be able to carve a significant segment of the condom buyer out of that mainstream market into ours and then leverage that to move culture forward.
Got it. Okay.
So like my thing is when I look at the condom market, like I mentioned earlier, 40% of the condom market look like us. Right. And you're talking about $1 billion market, right? Over $1 billion a year spent on condoms. So when I look at it, I'm like, my competition, when I'm able to, and I understand how Black people move, like, there'd be no Barack Obama president without like an Iowa, right? Without kind of like, when we move in mass. We're going to get 90%, right? And that's always been my mindset. Like, Jason, continue to do the work, continue to build, because when I finally get on my blowhorn, right, and I broadcast it out and I got the track record where people can see that I met and I said it all along the way, I'm sure we're going to move in mass. Right. And then
Jason, I'm not trying to cut you off, brother, but I've been known to have marketing and branding monsters type brain.
Yeah.
When it comes to different people products, and I really don't care about sharing with my own people.
Yeah.
Because I do believe in the product and what you're doing. But I'm gonna hand you this right here. This is a jewel I'm gonna hand you. All right. Look for a branding and marketing campaign in the urban wear departments of America, where it's in the stores, where the gym shoes, jerseys, and the hats and the doggone jeans are worn, where it's under the accessories, under the cabinets, right there at the front when you're checking out. Look to see if you can be the first to put that in those stores, because of course, when you look at the doggone stock exchange and everything, that's where our dollars going. 175% of the black dollars are going into clothing.
Yeah.
So imagine if you're right there for that last piece of accessory when they're buying a pair of socks, shoestrings, and a hat to go with the outfit.
Got you. No, I appreciate that. Yeah. Because and one of the things, and that's interesting. Like last year, we did a collaboration with this brand called Two Loans. Right. So one of the things that we'll do is we'll do kind of like a special packaging, kind of like like the Rap Snacks model. Right. And because I saw that, like the same, like I look at like Supreme, for example. Supreme would do like limited edition launches, right? So what my plan was is as we get bigger, we can go and do like a special edition with a bigger celebrity, but benefiting some community initiative where they're from, right? So let's say like, we could launch, we could collaborate with like a Jay-Z for like a Brooklyn specific campaign. Right, where a nonprofit would be able to benefit from Brooklyn, but we would sell them as like a limited edition online on our website only, so we control the distribution, right? And that's been one of the other aspects. So I mentioned Two Loans because one of the things, like they're probably one of the hottest kind of like Southern streetwear brands, right? And like all of the hood is like they got like their T or whatever, and a lot of the hood or whatever, they're all straight, gay, young, old or whatever. Like a lot of them are kind of like they're wearing that brand. So that was one of the collaborations that we had already done, and that literally opened up a lot of Alabama for us because they were from Alabama, right? And so like I realized how similar to like what you're saying, but you're saying it from like a corporate perspective. Just be available with it because that'll make it easy to get, right? Like
if you get into a DTLR, or a jazz, you get into those people, then automatically it becomes a corporate decision with them. So therefore, now you just distributed the black condoms across America. Because whatever they do in one store, they do in all the rest of them based on their planograms.
So like, that makes sense. I know, and it's interesting, right? Like on the retail side, we started off with kind of like Walmart locally, right? Next month will be Target nationally. Right. And that's because our early data have shown like our bedrock right now are black women. Right. Black men, like, we get it, but we may be like the later adopters. Right. So earlier on, like it's really like even online right now, 60% of our money comes from black women. Right. Like just on our online sales, which are really, really interesting. Right. So that's also kind of like part of like the business part. It's like, all right, stick with black women, right? They'll be able to get you here. And as you grow bigger, then you can be able to take on the Magnums of the world and all of those and the bigger brands or whatever. But I definitely see and agree with your strategy though. But I think that plays in when we start going to convenience stores as well, right? Because what happens is we did kind of like spot tests, right? In convenience stores, the reason why I'm not really available now is when people go in, they make their decision really quick, right? And there's not a decision that unless it's not like a place where they'll take a lot of time to switch a brand, right? So when you're already going into the gas station, you already know what you're asking for. And a lot of them are run by Arabs. A lot of them are run by Indians and everybody else. And who knows where they're going to put your stuff, right? So when they go in, people are going to say, I want this, I want that. And then they'll put it down. So it's not really a place that you can get more branding unless you got the money to put posters and all of that stuff in there, right? So I think what my strategy has been is, do the 80-20, right? The Target, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, right? The mass market, building the mass market marketing or whatever. And then once we have recognition amongst our people, you take the streets overnight. All right. And that's when we would be able to hit all of the other places. But it's interesting from that perspective. I was thinking more like top down and then hit them bottom up once you have that, like, once people see that, like, we can win, right? Because I think even the concept of having a Black-owned condom company, right? It shifts. There's something different, right? Like, because we never been in this space. And then I think what happens next is you got to act like people ask, is the product really good enough? You know, Trojan and all of them, they're billion-dollar companies. How's it small, like mom and pop or whatever, going to be able to do it, right? But what happens is as you rack up wins, people start believing. It's kind of like Barack Obama. Like, he gets Iowa, then he gets New Hampshire, then he takes it to South Carolina. By South Carolina, boom, right? Then he owns the market. Then he's running away with it. And that's kind of like politically what I've been trying to do here, right? And then I also got a little bit of luck, right? Not only am I launching in a Target nationally next month, Target put me on their board, right?
Oh,
because so I now have a board position, a 3-year board position at Target, right? And that's because one of the things that happened, you know, was when this opportunity and everything kind of opened up, a lot of these bigger retailers realized outside of beauty and hair care, there was nobody else. Right. Like, they had no other Black representation. Right. So if you think so, then, and especially then if you filter that out to Black men, especially, right? Like, if you're not Master P, right? If you're not some celebrity that got a licensing deal, who else is really out there? Right. And they then approached me, was like, yo, you're doing something different. You're doing it in a way at which we think that we can broadcast it out and people will genuinely like it. Can you show us how to be able to develop a next generation of people like you? Right. And I was like, of course. Right. Like, because for me, this hopefully will be able to give me the launch pad and the marketing. If you see me on a Target commercial and all of this, all of a sudden it's like, oh, we got a big boy in here, right?
Okay. This is the product, Meech. This is the product that was at the club that night.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh. The little box that was in the corner.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah. Let me ask this question because
and really quick, right? I just want to mention one other thing, right? But I also think, you know, like, my journey has really been unique because I've been independent all of the way through, right? Like, I literally built this from my apartment. No one taught me how to get onto. No one taught me about the planogram. I learned all of this myself. No one taught me how to bring in containers. I learned all of it. I literally built it from bottom up without venture capital, right? Without big celebrity recognition, right? Like, this was really that kind of like ground up, boots on the ground, two steps ahead, 5 back, 7 ahead, 3 back, all of the way through, right? Where I learned essentially every aspect of the business because I had no other option to, and I had no B plan, right? So I think because of that, you know, not only did it build in a certain level of fortitude that I know regardless of what kind of challenge, like my challenges now, I'll take them because I know what real challenges are from before. Right? Like, I can deal with these types of things. But I also think it then allows it to be a relatable story for someone to say it can be done, right? Like, my only model was watching Master P from afar, right? When I first launched the company, I was in New York. I personally went door to door for all of those bodegas and all of those kind of like corner stores, asking them to put my product in there. And they said, no, but I'll do it for free. Right. That's how I learned. Right. So like, and then I realized when that didn't work, you know, I had to go to nonprofits. It wasn't sexy because everybody's first question is, where are you carried? Right. And I don't want to tell, like, you know, and then it became government, right? But quiet is kept. I control distribution for condoms to a third of the country, and no one's even literally heard my name before, right? Wow. So like, slowly and strategically, I've been moving the chessboard and building a powerhouse that I know once that gate swings open, the rest is history.
Exactly. I had asked a friend of mine who works for Fulton County Health Department.
You asked them why they don't buy ours yet?
No, he told me that they did, because that was the question. I was like, listen, John. He said, oh no, we got them.
No, they lying.
Really?
I'll call them out.
I'll
call them out. No, let me tell you this. The cab buys them. Cobb County buys them. The state will support. I ain't got no love from Fulton County yet. And we in Fulton County.
Interesting.
If they in the room, say something if you in the live.
Okay.
I ain't gonna call your name out.
Well, okay.
You in here.
Okay. But you know what? Let me ask you something, because this may seem to be one of those questions I don't even think anybody's ever asked you.
Yeah.
Why do condoms expire?
Like anything else, the latex over time starts to break down and starts to degrade. So that's part of the reason that they'll tell you don't put them in like high temperature areas.
Right.
You know, like that's part of that whole reason, because like anything else, like latex, like I don't know if you ever seen like a rubber tree.
Not in a long time.
All right, you see like a syrup, like all right, you see syrup. You see how people get syrup? You see how people get syrup? Latex is exactly the same way. Like a syrup tree and a latex tree are almost identical in terms of their look, right? Right. And what happens is they'll put in something like a straw right into the tree, and then they'll have like a little container. In the latex,
like
the same type of way like syrup.
Like the way they tap the maple trees.
Exactly. That's the same exact way it happens with raw latex.
Yeah.
All right. And then they'll contain a little, it'll collect in a little cup or container, and then they collect all of the different cups, and that's when they add the preservatives and everything else on it. All right. Okay. But what happens is the same, like over time, right? Like whether it's the fillers or whether it's the lubricant, it all starts to biodegrade.
Okay.
Right? And that's why after a certain point, and you had a question, Nikki?
Yeah, because okay, so you don't use all those preservatives and all of those stuff that they would use. So does that make yours expire sooner?
No. Ours actually still last a lot longer. And that's one of the things, yeah.
See, then that's the stuff that don't make sense to me.
Yeah, but a lot of it's marketing, right? A lot of it's marketing and packaging, all right? Because what happened and what I realized a lot of times is, it's no different than the food deserts, right? Like you don't control the source or the supply. You're only left with what you're left with, and you're left to only believe what they tell you, right? Okay. Like it's like no different right now, right? The government tell you, oh, we ain't got no money, and then they send $14 billion overseas, right? You're like, man, y'all done had that money all the way back.
For a fight that ain't got nothing to do with us.
Ain't got nothing to do with us, right? But what happens is, part of the reason that I'm so adamant about disrupting this industry, right, is because when you look at it, we're most impacted, right? We spend too much money. Right, we want to have a seat at the table, and I believe that in my core. All right, because we should not but my belief even goes beyond condoms. Right, like I believe every industry needs a Black-owned company that controls that industry. We ought to have everything. I don't care if it's toilet paper. I don't care if it's laptops. Because another aspect of this is, as much as integration did for us, it also took a lot of core parts of our community away, and we've never been able to recover some of those aspects. Okay, right? And that's a discussion I think that the community really needs to be able to put forward to say, yes, it was good to be able to sit on a bus and be able to ride and get it. But if we lose our infrastructure that we built, and our infrastructure continues to break, then we'll never be economically equal. Right.
Like that same stuff. We should have been building our own bus companies,
and we had them.
I was never, y'all know, I'm on the Malcolm side of things, honey.
Yeah, me as well.
So I believe that I even got a video that say somebody, they asked, what would you say to the elders with no disrespect? And my thing was, with the utmost respect, I just believe that we got it wrong.
They dropped the ball. And like, but I think it was unconscious, right? And here goes why. Right. I looked at my grandmother, right? Richmond, Virginia. She used to claim, you know, she used to pride herself on being like the first Black nurse at this one white hospital in Richmond, Virginia, right? But I think what happened is at all different levels of society, that generation was able to get some level of pride to be able to be like, I'm the Jackie Robinson for my area, not realizing by becoming that Jackie Robinson, you're essentially breaking down the whole infrastructure that we had been building post-slavery, all right? So then what happened is the only thing that went on to fully integrate was our dollar, right? Our dollar is the only thing that they got. Like and then year over year, like you got to think, how many Black schools disappeared within 5 years? Oh my How God. Many people went from principals to paupers, right? How many people went from, you know, teachers to like, you know, to Amtrak, sir? Like we lost so much of our infrastructure. We gave away, like we had Black banks. We like,
I was gonna say because we're all like Meech is the first one, but I'll be 52 on my birthday. When I was growing up, every store in the neighborhood in Philly where my grandmother was all Black owned. All of them, all the corner stores, all the businesses, the tailor shop, the cleaners, the hat shops, you know, the shoe shops, everything that we had was Black owned. And now we don't own none of it.
None of it. And then what happened more recently, which is what I used to fight, because I think what happened with me, like I saw like my mother's program and I was fortunate, right? Because, you know, given my dad had a city job, right? But my mom used to make more money or whatever. It was never an issue. But everybody at her organization was Black, right? So I was then brought in with a mindset of like, we may not have as much money, as much resources, but you can have a Black organization and it can do well, right? And I think one of the things that happened was over the last 20 years or so, it then became about, it's not about Black and white. It's about diversity. It's about internationalism. You know, it's just not. But what that did is it just reset that pyramid where all of a sudden Indians went on top, Chinese went over top of and they just continue to build that totem pole with Blacks just getting pushed further and further,
all the way back to the bottom,
right?
And then as a community, we don't realize, and I say this all the time, like when we get upset about something, okay, I'm getting to the point where I'm like, yeah, burn the shit down too. But at the end of the day, the only way things will change is when you stop giving them your money.
It's always been economic.
That's the only way it's going to work.
Everything comes down to the dollar, right? and that's why, in my mind, we need to be able to control the dollar. Right. And the more that we can control our own economics, the more powerful. Remember, I'm sure, like, look, 10 years ago, back when you used to watch The Simpsons, right? They used to have the Indian slushy guys or whatever. Now all of the Indians are running tech. They're running all the hotels, and ain't no one making fun of them no more. Right. But what happened was what changed? Money. Why do people respect China? Why? Because U.S. owns all of their debt to China. It's economic. Right. And then economic begins to. Like, and that's why everybody, they're like, yo, I want enough money. I want FU money, right? Where I got enough money where none of y'all can impact my life because I'm good regardless, right?
Right.
And we ought to have that. We have enough in our community and in our ecosystem, but it also takes a level of breaking down lessons and patterns that we've had for that just came down from our parents and our parents' parents, like the idea that it's not possible. Right. And I've always believed that it was possible. Right. Like, but it takes a few of us to then be able to make it through, but make it through with the mindset that I'm opening this door to bring other people along. Right. Because nothing hurts me more than you put somebody in place and then they get frozen by the situation. I don't know if I can help you out because, you know, I don't want to put my job at stake. I'm like, then why are you in that position? Right. Like, don't give a Black man a job just to have a Black man in there. So and that's what happened with a lot of these diversity positions. Right. Like all that did is gave people cover.
Let me ask this. Because of the fact that your brand is condoms, this is putting you in the sex industry.
Yeah.
Okay. So now dealing with that, has there been backlash or any negative backlash? Because right now, as far as marketing and stuff is concerned, I'm sure, if there was a plan to talk to all the hookers and, the streetwalkers and the porn stars and this, that, and the other, have you experienced any kind of negative backlash because of the fact that, hey, this is sex?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I think what I've been able, huh?
You got a whole. How many come in the box?
This one here was 12.
I got 12 in the box.
Oh,
yeah.
You know we got issues.
I'll tell you.
So maybe he went to BJ's and got the.
No, I don't have issues, honey.
Oh
no. But in terms of that, I think because of how I've been able to develop the brand with its community focus, and it's also based upon we've gotten a pass where other people may not have, right?
Okay.
Because you got to think it's one thing if I'm like every day I'm in Brazzers and every day I'm in X videos and I'm just trying to sell sex, right? But there's a balance that I think I take to it where it's kind of like cognizant that what I've always tried to do is just get people to have that open and honest discussion, right? And I'll tell you what the interesting thing is, we got nominated for an X-Biz Award, right? And I rarely do stuff in the adult side.
Right.
But what happened is a lot of the Black adult actors, that's where they first heard about us, right? Because there's a shared Black experience across all levels, right?
Someone was saying that another way of marketing that would be great would be marketing to the legends of the adult industry, like Shawn Michaels or
yeah. Let me tell you this. One of my closest friends in the adult industry is Mr. Marcus. When I was out there in LA, it was he and I hanging out every day, and I met him 5 years ago.
Heterosexual husband.
Huh?
Oh,
that's one of my heterosexual husbands.
But I'll also tell you part of the reason that I would also never turn my back and when I say have a seat at the table for everybody, I'm talking about gay, straight, I'm talking about young, old, I'm talking about sex worker as well as people that ain't having no sex, right? If you're Black and you're serious about moving culture forward, I want your advice and I want you to have a seat here, right? And then I'll take and I may not always say the right things or do it the right way, but I think
Nikki got a question.
Knows me, huh?
Nikki got a question.
All right, Nikki.
I don't have a question.
You
I know you was gonna say something when you said the people that ain't having sex. Shut up.
No, let me tell you. But I'll tell you, one of the first people that looked out for us was Cinnamon Love, who was a Black female adult star from a while ago. Right? This was when I was in New York.
Damn.
Yeah, she reached out to me. I'll tell you, there were, and I forget the organization's name or whatever, right? Hold on. But it was, but it was Cinnamon Love, and then there was another organization in New York, right? That gay men of African descent.
I knew. Well, I was gonna say that for you because that just dropped in my spirit. But go ahead.
Those were the first two, and then BLACA, National Black Leadership Commission on AIDS. Then they actually gave me my first office space. When I first launched my company, right, I wanted to bring on interns. I had no money. I told you I was going door to door, right? And BLACA saw what I was doing. I told him I needed space for the summer so I could have interns, right? They were like, you can use my Harlem office for free.
Wow.
And that's why some organizations, like to this day, right? Like I'll never forget. And when I am able to make it big, like there's a lot of people that all played into this that I will be able to help later on, right? Because my success has not been built solely upon me. It's been a lot of Black folks that have said, I believe in you. I believe in what you're trying to do. We ain't got everything, but we'll try to help you along the way as much as we can. And that's why even now, like one of the guys who helps us, who's core to kind of like my marketing and my branding and everything else, his name's Jay Cooper. He's like the only Black gay, he's one of the bigger Black gay dudes.
Jay Cooper.
Yeah. He's like,
no.
Here in Atlanta, he's like Boosie's road manager. He's a Black
okay.
right? Like, And literally, like,
Bootsy road manager.
Yeah,
Red,
you
know
heard
him?
it. Huh?
Red, I was asking Red if he knew who it was. But
Yes, I know who it is. Okay, next caller, go ahead.
all that shit Bootsy be talking. Oh, we gonna cuss his ass out.
I'm just saying, those are my friends over there, and I'm
just saying we gonna cuss Bootsy ass out. All that mess he be talking.
We'll see.
No. Anywho, go ahead, Jason.
Yeah, no, but I say that to say, like, you know, I for me to be successful, right, I need to be able to make sure that the brand reflects the core aspects of Black culture, and we're all different, right? Like, you know, we all have different tolerance levels. Some a little bit more freaky, some a little bit less freaky, some into this, some into that. Like, but at the end of the day, my core focus is moving Black people and Black culture ahead, right? And I don't like, that's why, like, I don't discriminate against folks. I'm like, if you got an idea, I may not agree with it all the way, but like, let's sit down and let's see how we can collectively come together so that we can all move together. Because if we only hold ourselves back if we can't come up with them insular discussions to see how we can all forward move ourselves, because none of us have all of the keys.
This is true. Now, let me get in your business for just half of a second.
Yeah.
Okay. Just half of a second. I'm going to ask you two questions.
Mm-hmm.
The first question is separating business and pleasure. And I'm saying this on my community, the Alphabet Children, because you're a very handsome man. Yeah. How is it that you're able to, you know, throw it off all of the whistle calls and carry it on, you know, because I know my people. Okay. I know my peoples and carry it on, and a lot of them they only gonna come up to you because you're cute, and you know, and they act as if X, Y, and Z, but you know, they just trying to see who can have you first. So how is it that you know, in dealing with, because this is a sex industry, how is it that you know you're able to separate yourself from the business aspect of it when everything is coming at you in all of that kind of energy, sexual energy, masculine energy, takeover energy? Oh my God, you know, the fantasizing energy. How was that for you?
I just stay humble, and I also just keep it business focused, right? Like, there are a lot of I call them the double D dudes, dirty dick dudes, right? Like, there are a lot of folks that are like in the industry. They're here for the wrong reasons, right? Like, just speaking honestly, right? Like,
I know how to just touch it on my sensitive areas. That's all.
Well, I didn't feel a thing.
Yeah, but what happens is, I think that, like, when people get around me, right? I'm not like this. I don't wear a lot of jewelry. I'm not a flashy guy. I'm not like an overwhelming personality where I need to be the center of attention. People that are able to kind of get around me and they meet me, they're like, yo, he's just a real good dude that's trying to just do what his calling is, right?
Okay.
And I always treat people with respect. And I'm not the type where, like, yeah, do I try to like have my little fun like everybody else? Yeah, like, of course. There's no way to separate. I'm not like gonna say I'm a Puritan, right? Like, but I also have lines at which I'm like, some stuff, if they ever say Jay, people just know that ain't him. Like, right. So, and I think that's how I've generally just gone about it.
Okay, then the second question, of course, I'm back in your business.
Mm-hmm.
Quality control.
Yeah.
Product testers and things of that nature.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's when you use the double D dudes, right? Like, that's when you get their feedback, right? Like, everybody got a time and a place, right? Like, you get the dirtiest dudes, you know, the most sexually active guys, you know, and then you're like, yo, give me your real feedback, right?
Okay.
And that's generally how you go about it, right? Like, because, and I'm one to be like, let me tell you, the other day, I'll get a text message that'll say, you know, Jay, I tried out this one this one, and going back to what you were talking about in terms of expiration date, right?
Mm-hmm.
I got a text message. They were like, Jay, I tried out your condoms have always been working good for me or whatever. I tried out this one and it felt a little dry. It seemed like it had less lube, right? And I was like, take a picture of it, right? She took a picture of it, and it was one of the ones that was almost at its expiration date, right? And I was like, because you can track them by lot number, right?
Yeah, certainly, yeah.
That's how we track all of the different lots or whatever of our condoms. And I was like, it's interesting. I was like, number one, appreciate your feedback because I need to know, right?
Right.
I was like, your lot is basically expiring and not too long because, and then she's like, oh, I get it now, right? But that's what happens over time, right? Like, if you got a condom that's like 4.5, 5 years old and you got a 5-year expiration date,
right?
It's not going to be as
fresh.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's cute. Okay, now let's go here. Let's go here because the dynamics, as you said, you got 60% of your business coming from women. Okay. In that particular market, how oh, wait a minute, how do I want to phrase this question? Because I saw a video of you at a launch. I guess it's one of these somebody's party, whatever. There's a whole bunch of women there and carrying on. How is it that conversation is navigated? Because women are not necessarily wanting to discuss sex like that, but Black women in certain circles will. When you got the ghetto girl, honey, hoochie mama.
These young girls, honey, they say anything.
But also, now here goes why it makes sense, right?
Right.
Think about us. Up until this year, we didn't have mass distribution in store. Okay. So if you're only really available online, right? Women are more likely to plan ahead. The same type of way they'll buy birth control, they'll and we actually had to go, and we used to do like not surveys, but you bring a bunch of women together and you ask. A lot of them will have like a night dress right beside their bed, right? Yeah, we do like a little focus group, and they'll have like a nightstand right beside their bed. That's where they hold their vibrators and their condoms, and they always just make sure that nightstand is stocked, right? And because they plan ahead a lot of times, because we were only really available online, it was easier for them to kind of always have ours, right? Whereas men, they'll pick them up at the gas station wherever, right? Like, and they're not as kind of like strategic, and I'm going to order, like, given now we got like a subscription model, which kind of makes it easy on people or whatever, but they'll get theirs on their way, right? Like women. So that's why, and there's also the stigma related to it as well, right? Right. So women may not feel as comfortable going and getting it in store a lot of times as they may just be able to do it online, and it's discreet package and it just goes right, and they're able to support and feel good about it that way as well.
Now let me go here. Is your marketing to gay men different than your marketing to women? And I ask this because with the alphabet children, honey, oftentimes it's the bottoms who are more likely to, need the condoms and this, that, and the other. You know what I'm saying? The tops, as you say, they're going to get it as they come along. The bottoms, we have them in our purse and, this, that, and the other, bitch, we're going to be ready.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So is that marketing different, or is it almost parallel because of how the dynamics of that are? Women, as you say, are usually planners, and is it almost similar, or do you have to tweak it, and why do you have to tweak it?
Now, I'll tell you, I guess go back to like the alphabet marketing or whatever, right? Is a little bit different, right? Like one of the things that we generally do is we try to have presence where at like the prides, right? So every year, like we may do DC Pride or Atlanta Pride or whatever, right? Or we may do kind of like, so with us, or we'll do kind of like targeted online ads, right? So like, or we'll do, when it's not that, we'll do like adult advertising. So another thing that people don't know about, like, we may not necessarily promote this part of the business, but the cheapest online ads that you can buy are on adult websites.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
I heard that. Yeah.
And if you're a small company with not a lot of money, right, and you need to
Right.
get your reach in, right,
Right.
and you're able to target, so you can target gay, you can target, black, you can target.
That's what I was going to ask. Do you have a set target market? Because your spectrum seems very broad.
But it's broad within black, right? So like even like when we're talking to Target and we're talking to Walmart and everybody else, our discussions with them is we want to be within your black set.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Exactly. Okay.
So that's generally like, and what that then allows us to do is just focus on making sure we're connecting with black people, right? Like Target, CVS wanted to go and test us and give us test our product, but they put us in all white neighborhoods. It's not going to work, right? Because we're not putting any money into that market at this point. Don't get me wrong, when I get big and then you get crossover, it's kind of like the Ciroc model, right? You consolidate black, you get big, and then you can always go crossover and everything else. So it's kind of like pop music or whatever, right? But for now, I'm on a Tyler Perry circuit, right? Like I'm in Alabama, I'm in Mississippi, I'm in Louisiana, I'm in Tennessee.
Circuit, baby.
But that's how we've always been built, right? Like all my states, it's all in the southern states, right? Like that's our strategy. And then you get targeted marketing in the bigger cities, but it's in the black neighborhoods, right? Like,
and that's what it is. It's things that we need that is for us. It just puts you in the mind of FUBU, for us, by us. That's what it needs to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right. So now, let me let you get ready to get up out of here because I can do this all night.
But you got me ready to do a daggone research paper on him. Like, I'm ready. Listen, I literally just got my say congratulations. My digital diploma came today. I got an MBA in marketing.
That's dope.
Marketing. So listen, I'm already out of school. He got me ready to go back in here and do a damn paper on his damn thing. Listen, I might use that for my writing sample for my PhD.
Hats and t-shirts and stuff like that, marketing and stuff.
Okay, but hold on. Let me share the page because I have pulled up the website.
I definitely share with all my sons and stuff like that. I'm not sexually active, so but I guess I'm gonna put them in my nightstand.
Now listen, this here, as he has said before, the different brands or styles of condoms. You got the Supreme Black, the studded, the Snugger Fit. And these are the different packs. You got the 10-pack and the 20-pack. Tropical colors. Why do you have tropical colors? Is that just for nightlife and being cute?
Yeah, no, those are like, some people want like the red color, green.
To match the outfits and carry it on. I know we get stupid that way, but also it tends to heighten. It's mental. It's mental because my best friend and I, when we knew that we were going out on a date, our t-shirts would match our underwear. Okay, so we could have like a matching bra and panty set, kind of quote unquote. Yeah. And every time we would do that, we knew somebody was going to get done in or going to do somebody in or whatever. So, be as it may, but nonetheless, this here is part of what the website. Now, wait a minute. Wait a minute. This is just a condom. I had the merch thing. That's the wholesale. That's the contact. But yeah, there was some merchandise things up here where they had merchandise and things.
Yeah. No, we with those, we'll just generally give them away. Like we have them at the warehouse. If y'all want it, I can send y'all a shirt or whatever. Like we stopped selling them a little bit early on now. Because we found that they were like for us, it was just easier we weren't making a lot of money on them anyway. So I just decided, it's better for us just to go and include them or whatever. So like we give them to we have one of the largest student ambassador programs in the country.
Oh, that's cute. So, that's real cute.
Yeah. Okay, we have about close to 200 HBCU students on all of the different campuses that kind of like promote the brand and, they raise kind of sex education and condom awareness on campuses or whatever. So a lot of time we just give them to them.
Now, listen, sweetie, I want y'all to check this out because it's a free shipping on orders of $50 or more. So listen, sisters and the brethren. Okay, now you got to see a 12-pack here is $10. or the double pack, honey, is $20. Now, if y'all sitting up here trying to get your coins together, okay, 5 of y'all come in, do the little do-I-diddy, okay, and call it grace. You see, and that way everybody can have at the same time. You know, for those of y'all who throwing sex parties and carrying on, honey, this here, okay, this here would be the tea, honey. Especially for those of y'all here in Atlanta, when y'all saying y'all supplying all the supplies, you know, this here would be very, very advantageous for you, particularly those of you who either y'all big boy sex parties or if y'all body beautiful sex parties, and you're black, you're all black, no whites or whatever are included. If you want to be all black, then honey, come get your black on condoms, honey. How about that? Okay. But okay, we'll talk about that later because I'm telling my business, goddammit.
Freak. Yeah, all right.
Wait a minute. How did you get bumped out?
I don't know. Me and Xfinity gonna fight. It looked like stuff been getting knocked out. I don't know if the wind or what's going on.
So now, where is it that you see yourself? And where do you see yourself growing? Because I see that right now we have condoms. I would love for you to get into condoms and lube. I saw. Wait a minute. There was a lube.
Yeah. We got a lube right now.
You know
what I think. All right. Right now we offer about all of the different types of condoms. What I'm going to be doing is this year the focus is adding on like one more retailer, like maybe like a Walgreens or something like that. Going national in Walmart. And then adding a couple of grocery stores.
Dig it.
Right? Nice.
And then what I'm also kind of planning is to get into, well, like we were doing some market tests with like vibrators and like the Tokyo Valentino stores. So like, you know, we're testing those out, but our supply chain just wasn't as strong with that. So I'm not sure if we're gonna. Before I kind of like mass market and grow it all the way out, I like to kind of test it out to see, you know, before.
Right.
Because you know we got to buy a lot of that up front, but I'm really looking at getting more into kind of like the health supplement area, both for women as well as for men.
Okay,
and then like maybe being able to offer like, because I think like when you look at the market a lot, there's a big demand for kind of like male enhancements. Like a lot of them gas station pills, a lot of people are using them. All right. And a lot of people like chest headache, they give them the headaches, they give them the chest.
I was getting ready to say they don't know what the hell in that stuff.
Now, what seems to be your biggest challenge with your male market? Because what again, you know, we got the Law's Raw children, we got those who are dealing with sexual side effects from medicines and carrying on. And then you have those who talk a good game, but you know, okay, yeah. But they're the ones who, you know, oh damn, I forgot it. You know, yeah. What is it? And then now that we're dealing with let's come out of the STIs for a minute, because we're in a world where the studies have said that poverty evokes sexual behavior. You know, a lot of the kids now that study came from the CDC, and they were saying that those who are poor, impoverished, you know, no jobs or whatever, this is why they end up having 16, 17 babies, because sex becomes
looking for love.
Right. Or they excel in that. See, a lot of folks didn't know sex. For me, sex is my addiction. So that's a whole nother topic, but I'm very open with that. So a lot of folks, because they're good at it, you know, this is where they excel. So now this is what keeps everything going, because now, you know, the whole self-esteem issue and this, that, and the other. So sex becomes their calling card. This is how I keep a man, you know, or bitch, you didn't suck his dick like I did. That's how come he over here. It becomes the clap back. It becomes all of that, you know. So dealing with the male side of this, what seems to be your biggest challenge? We're talking to the brothers, because we horrible at taking responsibility, it seems.
A lot of it is like it's interesting, because what you say about in terms of like the alphabet community and the bottoms is also kind of like the role of the woman, right? A dude's not going to wear a condom most times unless the woman's going to tell him, like, you got to wear one.
Mhm.
Right. So I think
Right.
the large part of the strat, like, you know, you may later on, you may have issues of men trying to take it off or whatever. But I think the biggest decision maker, similar to kind of like what you talk about in terms of the bottom, is the woman. If you're able to get them to push it and to require it, dude's going to do whatever he got to do.
Right.
Right. So I think part of our backdoor strategy has been get the women, the men will adopt after. All right.
Mhm.
Because and that's why I invested heavily to make sure it's pH sensitive, making sure it's friendly to women.
That was going to be my next question,
because what happens is, like, women's health is a real issue, right? And women, and they go to doctors. Black men, we ain't going to no doctor.
Right.
Like, there are other issues that kind of all compound in to kind of like when you filter through the black health experience. All right.
Right.
Well, that's why with us, we're like, the more we can get Black women to adopt, and the more that we know our product is better, they'll convince a dude to be like, yo, you ain't gonna use that other thing because that thing be messing up my body, and you're gonna have to use something, but you're gonna have to use this one, right? And because he ain't trying to use one to begin, right? But if he uses one, then he realizes, like, oh, they're actually really good. Like, how you hear about this? And then she's like, oh, it's a Black-owned company on top of that.
Right.
He converted somebody over.
Right. You know, will you be evolving into
the thinking behind that?
Will you be evolving into the flavored oral condoms as well?
Yeah, no, we offer flavored condoms right now.
Really?
Yeah. So we got like chocolate, strawberry, I believe like banana or like lime or one of them. Mm-hmm.
Lime.
Yeah, because what happens is we have tropical colors and then tropical flavors. So the tropical flavors have both color.
I see the blue pack is right here.
Yeah, that's blueberry. So that's blueberry.
You know what you should do? You should come out with a brown pack and make it peanut butter flavor and put his face on it.
You know, I'm peanut butter.
No, we ain't had a peanut butter joke in a long time.
No. We do have a brown pack, but it's called chocolate. It tastes like chocolate or whatever.
Listen, we ain't had a peanut butter joke in a long time. Where you pull that from?
See, you know, they okay. Okay. So all
you
right.
might as well come on clean with it.
Okay. Reese's peanut butter cups, baby. Hey. Anyway,
because I got some in the fridge right now.
See,
I like them. I got some in the fridge. I bought some at Walmart yesterday.
Child, they tease me because I take peanut butter and I eat it straight out the jar, but then I also use it as an accessory.
No. My dad used to eat peanut butter.
Yeah, because the eating eating straight out the jar is not the problem, because I do that too, especially the crunchy one. I eat that one straight out the jar.
Yeah, I mean, eating it straight out the jar, that's a normal urban thing.
Yeah, that my dad used to do it all the time.
But eating it straight off another nigga, I ain't trying to hear.
Oh, Jesus. Father God,
well,
fix it.
Anywho, like I said, I use it as an accessory at times. Okay.
Right, go on with
anyway, let's get you back into your world, because see, this here is very astounding, and like I say, I'm getting to know you through this interview here. I would love to call you friend and brother, because I am just ecstatic that you have taken and created a product, honey, that is to move the culture forward, you know. And in this case, it really means that, move the culture forward. I can't stand that phrase, oh, we're doing it for the culture, because it just sounds like, okay, it's replacing. It's a black thing that you can understand.
What happens is, once it becomes it's ours, and then when the other people get a hold of it, then now it's a gimmick, and that's what always happens.
Right. And so this here, because this is us for us, and we're getting into understanding our health with this, you know, STIs are still real, y'all, even though, you know, HIV, AIDS and stuff is, but syphilis is making a comeback. Gonorrhea has made a comeback. Herpes has made a comeback. As a matter of fact, my doctor told me that more black folks got herpes than anything, because a lot of us are vitamin D deficient, and because we don't get tested for it. You've been exposed to it forever and a day.
That's a special test that you got to take.
You know, and so we as Black people, many of us have been exposed
but
to
Meech, I need to ask that question because that just sparked something. What does vitamin B and vitamin D deficient have to do with it?
What?
You said us being vitamin D deficient. Yes.
I'm not sure. I got to ask what the correlation is, but all of us with our vitamin D, you know, that there opens up and our skin and stuff becomes resistant. We can't. We don't. Our white blood cells and red blood cells don't produce.
Yeah, because I gotta take vitamin. Like I have to take vitamin D once a week. Like mine is prescribed from the doctor, so I have to take once a week.
And that's probably because you had a blood test and your vitamin D was low.
Well, you know, I got all kinds of stuff wrong with my damn blood.
But I'm just telling you, they probably found a deficiency in your vitamin D.
Yeah, no, I know. I've always had it. It go along with my sickle cell stuff. But I was saying with the STI thing, I was wanting to know what the correlation with that was.
Because it's another one of those things that help you with immunity.
Exactly. And if your immunity is off, then you can't fight off.
Okay.
Exactly. You know, which means that, you know, for those who become HIV positive, you know, it could help with the viral load going faster than what it is, and all of those kind of things.
My mega pack, I take a D3 every morning.
Yeah, I do too. I have, because I'm and it's funny because we love being outside, and we don't burn as easily. Well, we burn, but not as easily, you know. And we're out there in the sun. We just are just deficient. So in those particular cases, you know, this here is about moving us to the goal line. Men, you know that sex is required for us. Sex is, well, not just sex, it is ejaculation. Ejaculation is required for us because just like a woman's period, ejaculation is our period because that helps to regulate our hormones.
And lower prostate cancer helps with that.
And reduces prostate cancer. Yeah. So that's why, for those of y'all who don't understand why men always get, you know, that's part of the hormone thing that we go through. Okay.
And so it lowers prostate cancer for ejaculation.
Well,
so the ejaculation process it lowers the prostate cancer thing. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Understood.
It lowers the risk. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it's funny. I actually, like, if you go to our Instagram, it's at B Condoms. We made a post this week that was talking about what happens when you don't have sex for a long time.
Right.
All right.
Right.
That was actually one of the first ones. Who was like, you can experience more stress and anxiety, mood swings, higher risk of developing heart disease.
Yeah.
Your immune system gets weaker, blood pressure goes up, the vagina walls can dry up or thin out, your penis can shrink, and you're at a higher risk of developing prostate cancer.
Boom.
So
this is why.
Keep a healthy dose.
Shut the hell up. You worried about me, goddammit. It's still old shit. I don't care how long it's been since I had none. It's still nice and right down there. I'm waiting for somebody's daddy with a whole bunch of money.
This is why.
He doesn't have a whole bunch of money. He just got to have a business, and he has to have travel like we all have. Goddamn it. I don't want to be down the corner.
When she busts, Georgia gonna shake. I'm telling you.
Listen,
y'all better hold on. College Park is gonna be an earthquake.
Anywho, Jason, we're gonna let you get back into your world.
So nice
and Big Meech, honestly, thank you a lot, and I do appreciate you being patient and persistent. Because he can tell you, like, I'm a terrible phone person. So if anybody that tries to you'll never get me. But if you send an email, I'll definitely, because when I settle down and I calm down, I can get back to you. So I just appreciate that part of you. So and thanks for the opportunity.
I got educated.
This was important to me because, like I said, I wanted to make sure that we get you here. Now I got to make you a commercial for the show, but we'll talk about that later. Because I really want to make sure that folks push this. I'm in my head like, okay, I know Big Boy Pride is coming up, Heavy Hitters is coming up in Texas, and the Big Dogs is doing something in Vegas. So I know all of these particular organizations, and see, this is my community, the Big Boys, child. Lord knows, honey. You know, these are other avenues that are Black centered and carried on to where your brand would do wonders there. I mean, shit. You know, and I'm
and then also now that you got him, you already said you give me the feedback. Let me you know. Yeah.
You got the business address and stuff, Meech? Because I want to be able to send, do you have Jason's business address or PO box or whatever? I want to send him an ALO Nana package. Jason, I make on there soap and body butters and stuff.
We got it. We got it. And carried up, but yeah. Okay, you will get a thorough report.
Right. And I'm gonna, because I was so educated tonight, I can honestly say Red is not lying. No, I haven't had sex in a long time, but I was a person who got married when I was 18, and then I was married for 10 years, and then I was divorced for a little bit, and then I was married again for 6 years, and then I divorced a little bit, and then I was married again for 10 more years. So I don't be having that many different people out there because I was in long-term marriages. So I don't be out there because of the thing of condoms irritating me. I'm very sensitive. So I'd rather just not have it. I know that in those long relationships and stuff like that, well, at least my husband's is supposed to be acting right. You know what I'm saying? And my tubes is tied, so I ain't got to worry about having no babies. So it's a big deal for me when it does happen. And I know that I don't want to not be protected, but I also know that like 9 times out of 10, those other ones will irritate me. So it's like, I don't want to do it. So this was an educational thing for me to be able to be like, okay, girl. All right.
And you know what else too, Nikki? Ain't no pork in them.
I know. I seen that. I seen that. He said it's all vegan.
I was waiting on his ass to go.
You know, there. Ramadan start April 1st. Now, listen. Don't start no mess with me.
Anywho,
but yeah, thank you so much. And I will. I'm gonna get the business address from each, and I'm gonna put you together.
All of this is going to do. Like I said, it is my duty to make sure that I do my part to help build and rebuild Black Wall Street, and then I want us to build a Black gay Wall Street because Black gay Black business owners have never been highlighted or spotlighted. So you, sir, having a product that is absolutely, again, it tickles me when we have Black folks in arenas that we don't think Black folks are in, and then for you to do the first, you know, you're the first.
But see, that's why I was so excited that night that we were in. Well, I might as well plug them when we were in the atrium.
Yeah,
and that thing was, and the little distribution thing was there. And she was like, "Oh, it's a Black-owned company." And this is I'm looking at my little homegirl. It's in Decatur.
Oh, well, yeah. That's cool because here's what happens. Like I'll tell you, we sell. Last year, I think we sold like 12 million condoms or something like that. But like, I don't be know where they be going.
Okay.
Listen, you better come on.
She had a whole display tower. You know the display tower that you all have? She had the whole display tower, and it was loaded with them, and she was giving.
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah,
that is cool. Yeah, because you know, like, but yeah, that I like, you know, to me, that's the stuff I appreciate because you know, a lot of times I don't see that part of it, right? Like. We just focus on getting things out, growing, growing.
All I know is I was excited. I was telling everybody in the club.
Now we have to spread the word to CCOA for all the car clubs and stuff to know about this.
Oh, listen, that'll happen because all it takes is just a little finagling and all of that. So one of the things I just want to make sure that we do our part to keep you doing, because dude, I'm telling you, when I found out, I was like, you have got to be fucking kidding me. It is always a marvel when we see Black folks in areas that we don't think they should be. You're the first one to do condoms. We got the brothers in Chicago, the first one to do bread.
Okay. Oh, God, we got to ask you about bread. What happened to the bread?
Hey, it's fine.
It's so
Lee,
good.
Baby.
Got this
over
honey
with,
wheat
bro.
bread. Oh my God.
The Black-owned bread company. In fact, that's what
And
it's
they
called.
deliver.
Black-owned bread company.
And they
Wow.
They out of
deliver it. You order it
Chicago.
online and they will
Okay.
deliver it here.
You were talking about toilet paper. We got like 4 different
We got
Black-owned toilet paper.
black-owned toilet paper.
Wow. Wow.
Okay.
Black-owned
So,
detergent.
yeah. And as long as I find out about them, this is what I do. I highlight them here. You know, so folks can understand. And yeah, we've highlighted you before because we had the condoms. Yeah, I'm like, what is this? Then I found out you was here in Atlanta. I thought, oh wait, no.
Yeah, because we had already spoke about you on the show.
Right.
Wow. Wow.
I just got an idea. Y'all know how I be doing the raffle baskets, the Elo Nana raffle baskets.
Exactly.
I'm gonna order a box of condoms and I'm gonna put some
Just tell me, I'll give them to you. You ain't got spend.
Okay.
No, I want to support it. Listen. Oh yes, because I'll be looking for other stuff besides just my products to go in the baskets.
Right.
Oh my God, yes.
Oh, girl, wait. Okay. We'll talk. All right, let's
okay.
Get going. Because my wheels are going. My wheels are going.
Right. I know. Look, y'all know I'm sleepy, but I'm waking up now. I'm like, wait a minute.
I'm girl. Yeah.
That marketing degree about to start working right now. It's about to be like, bitch, wake up.
Okay, right.
That man Bumpy Johnson. I know that name.
You got Bumpy Johnson on your shirt? Give me that shirt.
Yeah.
Give me where you get that from. Who bought you that?
That was made especially for him.
Did you get it for him?
No, I
didn't. Gospel Gangster on the back.
He got Gospel Gangster on the back.
Oh, Lord.
And then Nate got the chorus.
But that movie was influential. That's what made me want to go and get the direct connect.
Right.
Like, let me tell you, I went solo with a backpack to China, Thailand, and Malaysia. I went to Google. I downloaded the names of the condom manufacturers. I cold called them and sent them a cold email, making it seem like I had the biggest company in the U.S. Right?
You better come on.
Just doing that. How were you able to navigate that, not knowing the language? How did you find your translator?
No. What happens is most of these companies and manufacturers almost all Chinese run, right? Even if you go to like Southeast Asia or like all of these, they still. Even Latin America, a lot of them, like the factories are still run by Chinese people, but they'll have like a U.S. or English speaking representative, right? They'll have like territorial salespeople or whatever, right? And then a lot of times, so what I just did, I went to Google. I was like, largest condom manufacturer, because I wanted to see what Trojan was getting theirs, how we were different, where all these other direct lifestyles. Then I was like, and then I bought me a ticket, right? And I was like, send them an email. I'm going to be going over there. You know, we're sending a. You know, you can create an alternate email that has like an alias name, right? So-and-so's the second. I'm the so-and-so for Jason Panda. You know, he's going to be traveling there. He'll be there this date to that date. All right. Then you show up. They got a little sign for you. They take you to the factory and all of that. I made it seem you got to act as if, right?
Make it till you make it.
And that's how I did it. But then what happened is the first factory I visited, I didn't know anything. But then every factory you go to, you get more pieces of the puzzle, right? Then little by little, by the fifth factory, I already knew what to ask for. I already knew where I was going. I already had my notes ready. That was my curriculum, right? Because no different than the first time I brought a container in. I showed up at the port with a U-Haul with my boys. No one ever told me about customs brokers. No one ever told me about like all. I just thought you just show up at the port and get your product, right? Like, I literally, when I say I had to teach myself my first warehouse was my apartment. I went from there to a U-Haul storage unit, right? I went from there to finally being able to afford a warehouse, right? No, I went from there to a 3PL. Went from a 3PL to my own warehouse, right? Like, so literally brick by brick, I've been building this and learning, right? Like, that's why a lot of stuff, like, I laugh about it because over 10 years, I've built such an experienced skill set that I already know that I know, right? I may not have had the money because we ain't ever been as capitalized as all of these big guys, but they ain't ever been hungry as us as well. And I know that the core response and the core purpose of the company hits the same way 10 years ago as it does now, right? Which is when you all hear about it, it sparks some type of thing inside that like it is possible and we can do it, right? My goal is to be able to get enough wins and broadcast that loud enough to take that nationwide. And then once I do, it's the game is over. right? And I may have had to walk a long way. I may have been starving. I was like, Noah building his ark, right? Everybody called me crazy. I made $200,000 my last year, and I left to make $0 for 4 years, right? So it's like, but I made the sacrifices to where I'm for tough right now, right? Like it's gonna take a lot. So, and I'm doing it for the right reasons. I just believe in what I'm trying to do.
I appreciate your story.
Baby, that's very inspiring.
I need
very,
you to
very,
come out
very
and talk to the
inspiring.
kids and stuff like that.
Yeah.
This is, and then you know what? When you get all the way national, once you go all the way national, global is not going to be that hard. And for you to
let me tell you, we get hit up by
Africa
people in
best.
Black people are everywhere. We get hit up by people in Jamaica, people in Nigeria, people in Toronto, Montreal.
That's what I'm saying. You go to Africa because Africa is where they probably need it the most. Because
get out of my head. Get out of my head. Because I'm just
I can't. I live there. I'm
definitely ready to go there because of the HIV epidemic or pandemic over there. And I remember a trans sister of mine, who's over in Thailand now, Miss Lorraine Baskerville. She says she had traveled over there, and she said she had to tell the folks, they were using the polyurethane condoms. Okay, that a lot of the female condoms are made from. And so she was telling them because condoms were so scarce there. That to wash it out and to reuse it because the numbers over there were so astronomical. She said, of course, we don't advocate that, but because they can't get supplies,
we got to do something else.
So we had to think outside the box.
Look into that
now
market,
looking
South
at that,
Africa,
it's like,
Nigeria.
Wow.
Yeah.
You are with the Black-owned condom. What would that be like to take that to the motherland?
Yeah. And that's kind of like my bigger, broader vision, right? So like, because I've always looked at it this way, because and maybe because like even before there was Malcolm, there was Marcus Garvey, right? And what he said was when he first went around all of the different parts of the world, right? Before the Black Star Line and everything else, it was a shared Black experience where no matter where in the world you found us, we were always at the bottom of the totem pole. Right. But through that experience, there was also a common thread that we could then interconnect, whether we were in Africa, whether we were in the Caribbean, whether we were in Canada, whether we were in the UK. And that's always kind of what I've built my model on. And hopefully I'll be able to live long enough and be successful enough where I can do my part to reconnect all of them pieces. But I've always seen it that way.
Yeah. I mean, it gets a little tricky with the African countries because opening international businesses and stuff with them and the way that their politics are set up. The way that their politics are set up is a lot of corruption. So they got different kind of guidelines than what we have. And then it's like, if you not with this political leader, they're going to make it tough for you and all kinds of stuff. So it's a lot to study, but it's needed. Your condoms are needed there. They're needed.
Right. Well, on that note, we're going to let you get back into your world.
All right. I thank y'all again. I appreciate y'all.
This year has just been, it was what I needed it to be. And like I said, I wanted to make this different. I'll listen to a few of your other interviews. I said,
it is.
If I could come up in a different way, because the information is required. This here is paramount to where folks know that you are a Black-owned business and we need to support this. Child, it's the first of its kind, honey. And I refuse to take no for it. I refuse to take no for an answer.
Come on.
I refuse to take no for an answer. Okay.
I'm proud of you, Black man.
Me too. I'm just meeting you, and I want you to know that I'm proud of you. Oh my God.
So
I need for all of us to win. I need other people that look like us to win.
Okay, come on, Issa Rae. Okay. Okay. So, all right, good night.
All right, good night. Thanks again. Y'all have a good one.
All right.
You're welcome. I'm going to get your information from me, so I'm going to send you a best. I'm going to send you some
We got you. Okay. All right, baby.
All right.
Oh, child, honey.
That was amazing. Y'all, I'm so fucking tired, but that was amazing.
Isn't he just delicious, honey? Yeah.
He said, I went over there like I knew what I was doing, like I was this and I was that, and I went on and I learned that stuff.
Right.
I love it. I love it.
But that's the dedication and carrying
Right.
on. You know, we've all said that something similar. You know, in order to get into it, you got to become it. You got to become a part of it. Blah 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 blah. And that there is what that is. So, and then to make sure that he has the best product out there. You know,
Yeah.
out there.
He didn't just try to post something out there.
Right.
I love that. He didn't just say, you know what, I'm gonna just make it because I can, and I'm gonna do the same thing they doing, but it's black owned, so they're gonna buy from me. No, he made it be better on purpose. I love it. I love it. I love it.
So that it stands out from the pack. You know, and that there is everything. So now, children, you know what? I'm full. I was going to continue on, but I don't think we need to.
Right.
I don't think we need to. Because that there has just been everything here. I was going to get into some real talk discussions, but we don't need to because that there was as real as it gets.
That was a lie, and it was good.
That was as real as it gets. Now y'all saw me put the little condom on. Now my arm was much bigger than here, so it came down to here on me. Okay, because I got all this girth to carry on, but with the bald fist.
But I'm still trying to go back to this nigga saying somebody did all the way up to the. Yeah. My mom was like stuck for a while when you said that. Like I was still listening, but I was like, wait the fuck a minute. How?
Very carefully.
And they still able to walk around and just be fine.
Yeah. Just consider it astronomical.
Yes. No, you bring your ass back here. You shouldn't have never told us that's what they did. You get your ass right back in this screen. You know get your ass right back in here because you shouldn't have never told us nothing like that. You know,
listen.
When he said that, my mom was literally stuck because my mom was like, "I know the fuck. That's not what he's saying."
Yeah, that's not what he's saying. Yeah.
Wow.
And for him to take it down to his elbow on his arm, you know, because he's not, you know, he doesn't.
Maybe for him to cut that cucumber through that damn thing.
Exactly.
I'm like Nikki, for you to say somebody had nuts next to their armpit, that's crazy.
Right, like what?
Yep.
What, he thought it was a puppet?
What?
Basically, a marionette.
His hand all the way up your ass, all the way up.
A marionette, honey.
What the people said, what the mamas used to say, I'm putting my foot so far up your ass, you're gonna be talking with my damn.
See, somebody should have explained to him there's a better way to your heart.
Right. Well, no, sis, shit. That might have been the best way for them.
So, anywho, that there is that. So, children, we're gonna let y'all have the rest of y'all Saturday, honey.
All right.
We're gonna let y'all have the rest of y'all Saturday. I'm sitting up here. I'm overheating because it's cold outside, but I think I got the heat on too hot from here, and I know what it is. It's the lights because I'm in this corner, and the heat is circulating right here. Now, when I go into my bedroom, but turn it up, okay. But that there is that. So
I hope a good night. The Skyhawks won.
Okay.
Skyhawks won this damn night. This was good.
Right.
Well, Ice Cube said
it was very informative for y'all.
It was for me. It really was for me.
Yeah, it was. Oh, child, it was a wonderful night. Wonderful.
That was my
yeah.
Okay.
And I got a chance to see the face behind the product that we saw that night. So.
Exactly. Now, our next day on the air will be Friday the 18th. Y'all know because I'm back to work on Sundays. We don't do. I said what I said Sundays. Because I got to be at the donut factory from 3 to 11. So that there is that. Oh, let me tell you, I didn't tell y'all this. I met David and Tamala Mann.
When?
Oh yeah, you told me.
When you meet Brown and Cora?
I met Brown and Cora Wednesday night. Yeah.
They was at the hotel?
Yeah, they came through.
Aww.
And I was able to talk with them and carry on, which was lovely. Honey, Brown lost a lot of weight, honey, but he looks good.
Yes, he has.
and things of that nature that I told him about. I said, y'all tell Tyler that I said this last movie of y'all's, honey. I said, I said, that was too damn funny. I said, I'm cussing because y'all asses was cussing. He said, well, we wasn't cussing. That was him.
Baby, because that was funny. That shit was, you know what? I think I'm about to watch it again before I go to sleep. That shit was funny.
Then I told him about their song, Ups and Downs. Have y'all heard this thing? Oh my God. That song
I love this song.
That song makes me cry every time I hear it because it's genuine. And I put that on the Learning
Wait,
to
is
Love
that the one where they was talking about when he had the baby outside when they explaining the story?
Oh,
okay.
No, this one here is a love story to each other.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And he said, have you heard the whole album yet? I said, it's a whole album. I thought that was just a single. He said, no. And they did a whole album together.
Yeah, they did a whole album together. And because that one song that I'm talking about is on there too.
Okay. And it's like, wow. Okay.
And it's not gospel, it's a love, it's a relationship album.
It's a relationship album, and it's sickening. It is absolutely sickening. So he told me to go and listen to it. I said, as soon as I get downstairs to my office, I'm going, and I did. And it is a very, very wonderful, wonderful album with the two of them. And I have another song. I don't know the titles of it yet, but it's the second song that tore me up. I was like, okay, y'all trying to play with my emotions.
Oh.
Okay, and things. So it's a wonderful, wonderful show. I'm an album and Canada. They're beautiful people in Canada. So
I know we about to go, but I want to because I was here, but I wasn't here. So I want to send up love, light, and prayers to not only the Braxton family, but Tracy's husband, like her immediate family, and her son and her grandson. And you guys, you know how the one that we noticed the least or whatever, Tracy had become, well, next to Tamar, like my favorite, because she was always the underdog when Braxton Family Values came on. So for me, I was always rooting for Tracy. And even when I found out she was sick, but they wasn't never really saying what it was, man, that's
and what gets me is that she's the one who really wanted to sing.
She wanted it so bad.
And what got her was esophageal cancer.
But some people in the state capitol, they don't.
What's that?
That's me.
This is about David and Tamla, man. But like y'all, if y'all never heard Tracy's song "Last Call," that is my damn song. And when it came, you know that she made it all the way up to number 16 on the Billboard the Billboard Hot 100. Last Call was my damn song, and I'm glad that she was able to do the things like you said. She wanted it so much. Yeah, she had two actually, because she had one after Last Call, because the name of that album was called Last Call. And then she had another one, and then just being acting and stuff. She's acted in something that hasn't come out yet.
Right.
It'll be out soon. So you know, just prayers and love and light to their family, because even though they get into it and stuff like that, y'all could tell that's real family shit.
Right. And they are.
And it was all with her. For anybody that don't know, the family, mom, Tamar, Tony, all of them was husband. Everybody was with her when she passed, because Tracy had been in hospice for a while.
Well, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she the last couple months. So everybody was there with her. So that's a good thing too, because that's rare.
Yeah. So we want to send that up there to the children. And you know, I'm Trina and I, we haven't met face to face, but you know, we have a relationship because she was on Sister Circle, and they know me.
Yeah.
And so I reached out to her on Instagram. I was like, "Listen, we're going to hold you up, you and the entire family,
right?
You know, and carrying on. So y'all just hold them up, because that's a hard loss."
I know I'm gonna probably do a post. I'll probably put up a TikTok
and to her husband and her son. You know, y'all know me just losing my mom. I'm very sensitive about that.
And her grandbaby, you know, because the son done got married. The son just got married. You know.
So, and she was only 50. That's the thing. She was only 50.
Mm-hmm.
So wow. So all right. So all right, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna let you guys go. I'm not gonna sing out tonight because I'm sweating and and then I've been sitting in this chair a little too long. I got to get up. So on that note, honey, we will see you guys on Friday, the
Next
18th of
Friday.
March, where we will have Dr. David Mel Bronze will be our special guest. If you are in the Atlanta area, girl, shut up.
Niece, that's our niece. That's lady ass.
I heard you. She okay?
No.
Is she okay?
Don't even start. Who's our guest? What you say now, me?
No.
Who's the guest?
No.
Oh, she was doing that about the guest.
Yeah.
If you're in the Atlanta area for March 19th, next Saturday, 9 a.m., particularly if you're in College Park, so all my College Park children, honey, our Mayor Bianca Motley Broom, is going to be our guest at the Citizens College Park Citizens Association, and that's going to be next Saturday, third Saturday of the month at 9 a.m. at Restoration Christian Fellowship Church. So if you want any more information on that, y'all inbox me or go to cpcaga.com, CPCAGA, that's College Park Citizens Association, Georgia.com for more information on any of that. We want to get a good turnout there and carrying on so that this is your opportunity to ask the mayor any kind of question that you have about her leadership here with the city of College Park. Okay. Even if you're not citizens of College Park but want to come and meet her or whatever, we're going to throw that out there your way too, because you could come in and be visitors, and carry it on, because maybe you may have questions that we won't think of, based on how your city is ran or whatever. So if you're in that area, that would be good to come on out and to support that particular cause. Okay. So without any further ado, honey, you may finish all of your crumpets, my darlings, because the tea has been dished. And you've been dishing tea, darlings. With Big Meech and Aunt Nikki and the big guy ally up there. That there is the big red fella. Okay, well, to our special guest, honey, Mr. Jason Panda of Do Condoms, honey. This here has been a spectacular show. Yeah. So we thank you. We love you, honey. If you love us, tell a friend. If you hate us, tell all of your motherfucking enemies, honey. But just remember that any and everything that we're doing over here under the hard way, the syndicate, honey, everything that we're doing, honey, will move forward, darling, in any way, shape, style, form, or fashion. So on that note, darling, yeah, good night. I'm not going to sing, honey. Just good night, and we will see you guys next time, okay? Ciao.
Bye-bye.